President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed Justice Mandisa as Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa. This will come into effect on the 1st of September. Justice Maya is currently the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal. She's the first woman to hold the positions of Deputy President and President of the Supreme Court of Appeal. President Ramaphosa says Justice Maya will contribute to the ongoing transformation process of the judiciary, and her ascendency to the apex court will serve as a beacon of hope for scores of young women. That's an interesting development that will continue to follow. For more on that story, let's welcome Mbegezeli Benjamin, researcher at the Judges Matter. A very good morning to you, Mbegezeli. What do you make of this appointment? Already, President Cyril Ramaphosa was getting criticism from different quarters about holding up the process and the potential consequences thereof.
Good morning, Desiree, and to the viewers. We welcome the appointment of Justice Maya. It is a historic appointment. She is the first woman Deputy Chief Justice of the country, and probably the highest level that a woman judge has gone in our judiciary. It is 30 years too late, but we welcome it. The concern that you raise about the president taking too long to finalize the appointment is something that we were also concerned about. It took about a month since her interview for the president to confirm this appointment, and we wish that he had done it earlier. But we understand that there was some consultation that needed to happen between the president and the chief justice, and so that held up the process a little bit. But we welcome the appointment, and we see it as a sign in the transformation of the judiciary, although we are still concerned that there are too few women in leadership positions in the judiciary.
I get that you say you understand the delays, but just to allay and make South Africans comfortable about the reasons for this delay, are you able to detail those for us, those consultations, why they would have taken longer than they should have?
Well, we are not 100% sure what the technical fine details were, but it seemed as if there was some consultations that I think the president, as a courtesy, needed to do with the chief justice. There was also, I think, they were more logistical and administrative than anything more than that. So, for example, the start date of 1 September, that would have been something that the president would have needed to run past the chief justice. So, I think those were the nature of the consultations, and I don't think anyone should be worried about them. In fact, we should welcome that the president is willing to give the chief justice an ear on issues such as this. So it's nothing out of the ordinary.
You mentioned the significance of a woman being appointed to this position, and she has previously said in previous interviews that she wants to be seen for what she brings to the table as opposed to being seen as a woman. We do not want to underplay the significance, the importance, the historical importance of a woman being put in this position. But which weighs more, the capability, the gender?
Well, the key thing is not to weigh them up against each other. In fact, we should consider both. We should have many more women holding up leadership positions in the judiciary. But of course, they come to those positions on their merits, on the qualities that they bring. Justice Maya alone has 20 years of experience as a judge, 5 years as a leader heading up a very busy court in the judiciary. So she brings a wealth of experience to the position. But of course, we cannot overlook the fact that she's also a woman. And it's important to have women, and not simply for having them for the sake of it, but the perspective that women judges bring in the leadership of the judiciary in terms of the policies that are set in the judiciary is important. So, I think the other important factor of it is that the Constitution itself requires that the judiciary broadly reflect the gender and racial composition of the country. So we should aim for a more women majority judiciary, just like we have a women majority country. So all of those factors taken together, it is a wonderful thing that we have such an exceptional candidate as Deputy Chief Justice, who also happens to be a woman.
Yeah, the question of what would happen if she was appointed did come up during the interviews, and she indicated that it would really be important for another woman candidate to be considered to replace her at the Supreme Court of Appeal. Do we see this happening?
Well, the ball is in the president's court. The Constitution gives him a wide discretion on who the next candidate for president of the Supreme Court of Appeal is. And we would strongly suggest to the president that he appoints a woman to also head up that court. Like I said, there are too few women in the leadership roles in the judiciary. We have about 19 positions, and women only hold about 4 or 5 of those positions. So it's still quite a big gap, and the president now has an opportunity to do something to fill that gap.
So it's one thing to ace an interview, but now the reality check steps in. Will she be able to handle this position as Deputy Chief Justice in the Apex Court?
Well, I think we need to step back and look at her interview for Chief Justice. And there she charted quite a compelling vision of what she intends to do when she is appointed to a leadership position. We expect that based on her track record, on her experience, and the vision for the future that she has cast, she will do a decent job in executing the role of Chief Justice. In fact, one of the big roles of the Chief Justice...
I want to quickly step in while you're answering, because we have to quickly go to another interview. But just the dynamic of her having to work with the Chief Justice, what do you see, what do you envisage there?
Well, they've worked together in the past, and we expect that they will work together as a dynamic team to push the judiciary to a high level. So I think they will work together well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us at short notice. Mbegezeli Benjamin, researcher for